The Pakistan Super League is in all sorts of trouble and looks like it is only going to get trickier with each passing day. The league that was forced to halt owing to the tensions between Pakistan and India is now set to resume on the 17th, the same date that IPL announced they would restart. They made the announcement, of course, with the released timetable, the schedule and everything else just day before. But the PCB has much to tackle off the field before things can even get back on track for the tournament before it begins. In fact, they are already on damage control mode given what has transpired over the last few days. So what are the pressure points for PSL to resume and conclude without hiccups? Let's start with the first headache, the one that's most important, the venue itself, for which we will have to go back a while to when both countries were engaged in crossfires. India basically trying to thwart all of Pakistan's offensive tactics. Just hours before a match between Karachi Kings and Peshawar Zalmi at Rawalpindi, a drone crashed right outside the stadium, resulting in the match being called off. PCB got into a bit of a huddle and several meetings that day. May 8th is what the day was, if I remember correctly. The chief Mohsin Naqvi personally met the foreign players too to try and give them assurance that all was in fact well. And with that, with little hesitation, announced that PSL's remaining games, including the final, will be played in the UAE.
The extremely irresponsible and dangerous act by India, deliberately targeting the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium, was clearly aimed at disrupting the ongoing PSL. In the light of this threat, the board has decided to shift the remaining matches to the UAE to ensure the safety of our domestic and international players, who are our valued guests.
That statement seemed as if UAE was waiting to get the games going and all the PSL players had to do was hop, skip and jump onto a flight to take them to their neighbouring country. Easier said than done, because just a few days after that and with some insistence from the Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, PCB announced that PSL was in fact going to be suspended. And days after that, in fact, day after, I heard from a reliable source in the UAE Cricket Association that they have in fact refused to play host to PSL. This happened just some days ago, leaving Pakistan red in the face and venue-less. Far from ideal, so Pakistan now has no other choice but to host the matches in their own country. The league games conclude soon enough though, from the restart date, which is 17th May, and the playoffs will be on the 21st and 23rd of the month, with the final on the 25th. Meanwhile, foreign players made a beeline to exit the country when the suspension occurred, and that's what leads me to headache number 2 for the PSL and the PCB, a crucial one this, foreign participation in the league. Will Pakistan Cricket Board be able to convince the foreign boards and their cricketers to come back to play in Pakistan, especially after what happened over the last week or so? The strong sentiment here is players' safety was compromised, maybe irrevocably so, and foreign cricketers would rather not travel to play there after what has been a horrific experience for them.
Foreign players like Sam Billings, Daryl Mitchell, Kushal Pereira, David Weezer, Tom Curran, all of them were so frightened. Landing in Dubai, Mitchell told me that he would never go to Pakistan again, especially in this kind of scenario. Overall, they were all horrified.
That's what Bangladesh cricketer Rishad Hossain had said when the PSL was suspended and players, of course, had to leave. And that's what PSL is afraid they might miss out on. Participation of key foreign players that is bound to take the sheen off the league. 37 foreign cricketers had been drafted in. They were part of the PSL. Few Aussie players may actually return, like David Warner, who's said he will come back to lead Karachi Kings, but according to Pakistan media reports, the 8 New Zealand players, including Kane Williamson, are very reluctant to get back to Pakistan. In fact, PCB, in order to whitewash all of this fear and anxiety that many players were facing and still do, rightfully so, tried doing some damage control. In a statement shared by Lahore Qalandars on their social media handles, the Bangladeshi cricketer did a complete U-turn, apologizing for comments that apparently or misconstrued, were taken out of context. Take a look at the lengthy apology.
I'm aware that a recent comment I made has caused confusion and has unfortunately been misrepresented in the media, creating a false perception. The comment was made during a brief interview with Bangladeshi journalists while I was in transit at Dubai airport. It lacked full context and unintentionally overstated the emotions involved. I sincerely regret any misunderstanding it may have caused. I have offered an unconditional apology to Daryl Mitchell and Tom Curran. I hold deep respect for my fellow teammates and truly value the Qalandars brotherhood, where we always stand by one another no matter what.
Quite a dramatic change in stance, and one that PSL desperately needed. A rather timid attempt in reshaping a narrative that was already out of their control, and behind the scenes are trying to scramble to fill up the spots that some key foreign personnel may leave in their absence. That is, if they do not rejoin the PSL for the matches in Pakistan. Reports say that PCB has also promised the franchises a mini draft to rope in cricketers to cover for the foreign players who won't make it back, leading to utter confusion and a tournament that now looks like was announced on the very same date as India decided to restart IPL on, just to show the world that all is good and things are back on track like they rightfully should. The reality, though, is far from it.
At Firstpost, we are choosing to hold on to accuracy. That means we won't always be first. We may not get you your breaking alert. But what you will get is what we owe you. And that is the truth. Verified, checked, and cross-checked. We rely on sources and verified ones. After all, that's what separates a journalist from a loudspeaker. But sometimes even we miss a beat. And when we do, we will tell you. Like yesterday, we ran visuals from a registered news agency. That visual turned out to be fake, so we are taking accountability. And from now on, we will cite the source of every visual, every picture, every video that you see on Firstpost will have a source mentioned. That is our commitment to you. We will wait, we will verify, we will ask again, and only then will we tell you. No noise, no panic, just the facts. Because right now, that is what the country needs most.